Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well. Big up to each and every single of you watching. Oh, we got a lot to talk about today. We certainly do. And already the live chat has been cooking. The live chat has been debating amongst themselves. Apologies for the slight lateness. We have got the camera working again, the old camera or the new camera, whatever camera. The camera that I wanted to work yesterday is now working today. So big up to all of you guys. Look, key stories today. Garnacho. Basically, another one off the list. Alejandro Garnacho, a target that I probably put down as most likely coming to Villa at the end of the transfer window, seems poised to go to Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea, the club who seem to already have copious amounts of players, keep signing like it's, just the easiest thing to do in the world. And there's Villa, another target missed, another one off the list. We're also going to be discussing the latest news in regards to Jacob Ramsey and West Ham United. This one's interesting. And again, I've seen some interesting comments on social media in regards to us losing Jacob Ramsey and what that could or couldn't mean. And finally, we are going to be talking about the things regarding Watkins. But I'm going to say there's going to be a little rant today about Ozcan as well. What's going on? What's going on? We're gonna sign a player who we're gonna loan out again. I don't know. I don't know. It's getting crazy out here. But yeah, big up to each and every single one of you. Make sure you do run those likes up for me. It really does help out. Great to see some good interactions in the chat, as I said early on. But look, anyone who thinks Garnacho is coming to Villa, you need to stop that idea. I thought, again, and this is coming from myself, I thought from a perspective, Alejandro to Garnacho to Aston Villa near the end of the window almost looked like a dead cert, a position that Villa were going to fill. If he has told and has said for a while that Chelsea is his club of interest, then Chelsea will be his club of interest. I'm telling you, he's been linked with them since January. He's been a player that has basically been a bit vocal and said his disdain of Manchester United. And he's now sort of vocalising, it seems, that he would rather go to Chelsea than Aston Villa. The Jacob Ramsey situation, I said, I think it is a very split one. And then, as I said, we're going to get our teeth into Ozcan. But big up to everyone. Big up to Fraser in the house. Sides in here. Brainy Brian is here. Big up to Pete as well. Kevin saying hold fire. Doesn't mean Garnacho will definitely go to Chelsea. We'll discuss that more. Christina is in the house. Big up to Peter as well. Look, let's start on Garnacho. Let's just go straight into Garnacho. And by the way, everyone who's been discussing in the chat before we went live, the sense of the Premier League is feeling rigged. The Premier League is feeling like it's impossible to navigate. And the Premier League is becoming harder and harder to endure. I get it. But this whole idea right now of excuses has to stop now. I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting tired of this excuse culture we're making. Because even the players that we're signing, and Ozcan, as I said the story later on, what's the point? What is the point of that said signing? There's got to be a market out there for us. There's got to be something that we can exploit, and there's got to be a wider scouting network, surely, to bring something in. This whole idea of selling before we buy, spicy prices just put in the chat. Okay, I get it. Monchi, then go do your thing. And my biggest concern is Monchi failed to really get rid of Coutinho. We've had to terminate Coutinho's contract to basically let him go. We're going to have to do the same with Dendoncker. And unless it's a Saudi Arabia club, who Al Nassr came in for John Duran, and then, of course, Diaby going to Saudi as well, we've really struggled to flog some of our players. And my question is, why have we not received offers for Ramsey, for Bailey? Why has there not been that movement that we thought was going to come weeks and weeks ago? So there we go. But yeah, we're going to get into the Garnacho story. Kevin said excuses for what. I just think that it's very easy to hide behind we are crippled by financial restrictions. We can't do X, Y, and Z. We've got to lower the SCR. Despite Forest and Newcastle still working under the same prerogative, they're still making some movement. And this idea of us waiting to the end of the window to buy or sign someone is ridiculous, in my opinion. It's absolutely ridiculous. Why would we wait to the end to watch players that we've been linked to just get snatched up, snatched up, snatched up? And then basically at the end of the window, what's going to happen is we're going to get outpriced, outsourced, and have players that we wanted be overinflated. And watch this space with Ollie Watkins and Newcastle. Watch this space. Because what Villa could do is something absolutely crazy, which is going to be Newcastle receive a large sum of money for Alexander Isak. Newcastle get desperate and realise that all number 9 targets are gone. Newcastle throwing in a substantial amount of money for Ollie Watkins, and Villa then are left a little bit stranded and have to go pay a very overinflated price for someone like Samu or Openda. That could be the state of play. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but that is a scenario that I could see play out. And that is because of business being done late at the end of the window. When business is done at the end of the window, you either find yourself paying for overinflation prices or you don't get the target that you actually truly wanted. They've got to come in to the season late. But there we go. And I agree, Kev, that look, it's very easy to speculate and say this or this and that. I can give you one fact, though. Aston Villa, at the start of August, still have not signed anyone to strengthen our first 11. That's a fact. That's not being negative. That's not being speculative. That's not rumours. That's a fact. We haven't signed anyone to strengthen our best 11 or improve our best 11. It is August. There's a month to go. The window's been open, but it's a month to go. That's a fact. So if I'm working on purely facts, that's a disappointing one, right? That's a disappointing one. The transfer window's been open twice, by the way, because there's been too many transfer windows, right? Two mini transfer. You had the mini one at the start before the Club World Cup, which was basically irrelevant, and now it's been open for a month, and business has not been used to strengthen our best 11. So for me, it's that's the fact I can work off. Of course, everything else comes on there, and the Bears right. First of all, you've not made one serious signing, and even Man United, as much as you want to banter them, signed Cunha and Mbeumo both to strengthen their starting 11, despite how dusty they are. And yes, you can say they don't have the financial restrictions of us, X, Y, and Z. Even Tottenham, Palhinha today signed, done deal, coming in. Newcastle, Elanga comes in. Forest signing Brazilian boy geniuses coming in, strengthening their 11. So it is a frustration, but that is a factual thing. What people are holding on to and what Villa fans are holding on to is, oh, but we've signed someone at the end of the window. We've got to. That's still ifs, buts, and maybes. That's still ifs, buts, and maybes that we might sign someone at the end of the window. Surely we're going to sign someone at the end of the window. As my fact stands, we're not going to sign, if we continue the rate we are, it's going to be very difficult. My second thing I'd probably say is this, in terms of transfer talk. My other biggest fear of this window now is we've been so obsessed, and again, if we look at what we've tried to paint this window as the continuity window or consolidation window, keeping the squad together window, people have jumped that gun early and realised, again, if we go with the same metrics, there's a month to go, and we genuinely could still lose players at the end of the window. We could still lose players and not reinforce. So I'm really intrigued to see how this pans out, people. I'm really intrigued to see how this pans out. But the fact of the matter is, it's the 1st of August, and we've yet to sign anyone, sign and improve our first team. That's not negative. That's not speculation. That's the transfer talk, if you want to say it like that. Um, God knows I never will get enough of all that bullshit. The Premier, yeah, it is F the rules. It is, we've been slapped by UEFA, SCR, same as Chelsea, but guess who can't buy? There's your answer. Exactly, exactly. And that is the crap thing about everything, that it still feels like a very punitive restriction on Villa, and I don't like it. Neither do you, but we have to find a way. We have to find a way. But the worst thing will be, chat, is okay, we're trying to sell, but what if we don't buy? That's always my thing. What if we don't buy? Fabrizio Romano, then. This was the latest news about Garnacho. Alejandro Garnacho keen on joining Chelsea. It was his priority in January, and he's still keen on the move this summer. Chelsea considering to bid later this month for Garnacho, as said for weeks, and he's waiting for Chelsea as priority despite bids from abroad. No talk of Aston Villa in there. No talk of Aston Villa, but what is obviously really intriguing with this post from Fabrizio is the following. Clearly, it was his priority in January, and he still wants to go to Chelsea. The second thing that catches my eye is that Chelsea are actually going to try and buy him, whereas I thought Villa might try and loan him. And he's waiting for Chelsea as a priority despite bids from abroad. It absolutely stinks again of Chelsea going to come in and they'll just weaken the Premier League. Chelsea know that we're potentially interested in him. Chelsea know that, we could be doing a left winger. Oh, let's just make Aston Villa weaker and just add another player to our extensive squad to sit there and rot away. That is my worrying sign. That is my worrying sign, chat, is that, are Chelsea genuinely just farming players in to weaken the Premier League in that sense? But Garnacho seems set on Chelsea. I can see it happening, genuinely. And we can't seem to attract or pull anyone. And that's my worry. That's my genuine worry right now. Now, can we really afford to bid for Garnacho? Well, have you seen some of the estimations of Garnacho's price? The talk is around 30, 40 million for Garnacho. So if Jacob Ramsey is sold in the next couple of weeks, then that money that we get for Jacob Ramsey could then be used to bid for Garnacho. But as it stands, Aston Villa don't seem to have the power, the money, the resources to actually bring Garnacho to the club on a transfer. And so it goes back to that old age adage. What if Jacob Ramsey is sold? What if we don't land Garnacho? We basically don't have a left winger. And then it gets me back to that circular point that I've said all transfer window. Announce Jack Grealish on loan to Aston Villa. It's just looking more and more likely that Jack Grealish becomes Villa's main transfer this window. I don't know if anyone else is on that vibe, but basically, if Villa lose out on Garnacho and we sell Jacob Ramsey and we get rid of him, then we're stuck. And so Jack Grealish on loan is what I am still backing right now. It's what I'm still backing right now. Even though, big up to you. Someone said about the dividend. What is Chelsea going to do with this squad that keeps getting bigger? Exactly, Michael. They're just farming players because it's crazy. It's crazy what they're doing out there. Dividend at Saints has been overpriced, 27 million. That's ridiculous. Peter said after last summer's winner, something has happened. We had a shocking winner last summer as well, really. Side 10, 43 players Chelsea have on their books. It's crazy, sorry. It's a worry, but without signs, Betford is still trying to top six and get close to winning a cup. Ultimately, that's our season goals. Whether it happens, but that has to be our aim and objective to qualify for Champions League and win a trophy. Whether that happens, we'll have to wait and see. Player plus cash deals to get rid of a few. The guy says we need cash ASAP. We're broke, but we just got a belting credit rating for the Ghana. Bloody hell, United are in a mess as well. We're checkmate just like Newcastle. Rich owners, we're not allowed to use money. Spot on. A Watkins for Garnacho swap. So I think again, Brainy, it's all on again. I think it was Kevin who mentioned it. It is a little bit like chess, right? And why I say that is if Benjamin Sesko goes to Manchester United, then Watkins to United isn't going to happen. If Newcastle will land Benjamin Sesko, then I do see Watkins and United increasing. Basically, one of Newcastle or Man United will need a number 9. Rasmus Højlund has publicly come out and said, I'm staying, I'm not going anywhere. This is where my future's at. Good for you, Rasmus, but your club's still looking for a new number 9. That's facts. So that's the one. But do you know what the name that worries me? And has gone quiet. Nicholas Jackson. What's happening with Nicholas Jackson? £80 million Chelsea have valued him at. Well, there we go. We're ruled out of buying Nicholas Jackson. We're not going to pay 80 million. Are Chelsea willing to loan a player like Nicholas Jackson? Well, of course, we've got good links with Chelsea in some sense, and we've got that Disasi loan. Could it be a Jackson loan deal? And could we see a Nicholas Jackson playing on the left? I don't know. It's dusty, though. And I think Andy's got a good point here as well. Garnacho ain't the be and look, I didn't want him from the start, to be honest. And that to me, Andy, you've just grounded me and humbled me in the sense of I was never a fan of Garnacho either. When we were linked to him, I said no, thank you, no, thank you. But also, Andy, because I've been so desperate for a bit of movement and a bit of transfer and a credible and solid link, it geared me up to think, oh, I'll take Garnacho. Really, if I go back to my roots and where my head was at, Alejandro Garnacho to Villa was a move that I didn't want to see. And I said that very early on. You can go back to when we were first linked to him. I would have said that and you'd be able to see it. So it's interesting that my head's been turned slightly because I've been so desperate for a signing. Bring back Jack. Absolutely. Absolutely, my guy. Guys, make sure you are smashing the like button as well for me. Hit that thumbs up. Please help me out by doing that. I'd absolutely appreciate that. So there we go. And Jack would cook under Unai. But what has happened to all the clubs around us? I'm fine if we just stand still. PSR is peaking this offseason. We're destroying the league. Top 4 spend over $1 billion when all others selling. It's a horrible situation when you say it like that, Mike. But yeah, Yaz, Gary, Yaz. Let's see what else everyone's saying. Jackson is a mug as well. Absolutely not keen on Jackson. Me neither. I'm not keen on either. And that's how bad times have come. I wasn't a fan of Rashford, but he did pretty good until the injury. True. Maybe Garnacho could be the same. I don't think there are any same people who would bid 80 million for Jackson. You've got to be off your nut that they even think that's acceptable to price him at that. We can't swap Garnacho because it wouldn't do our PSI any favours. It has to be cash sale because he's an academy player. There we go. From United fan. Big up to LeBeau. Chelsea have to loan players out. Late to the party, but how are you feeling about the Ozcan loan? I'm baffled, frankly. Yeah, I'm saving that one to the end, Conrad, because, oh boy, Villa at it again. So there we go. Garnacho's mindset and ability to take his man on is what we need. Our team's 90-90. Yeah, we do need a bit of a pit bull in there, to be fair. That's why, any centre mid that's going to rough it up, I like. Josh, you've turned into a Newcastle fan. Yeah, I've got to remember my standards. And my standards are that, yeah, Garnacho isn't for me or Nicholas Jackson. And that's where this transfer window has almost pushed me into a corner. That's where this transfer window has almost pushed me into a corner because I'm not having it. I don't see it as a. Okay, let's put it this way. Garnacho for me is an improvement on Jacob Ramsey, but only slightly. And that's hard to say. I think Garnacho is only just a slightly better improvement on Jacob Ramsey. It's not the enlightening signing that I'd love to see, if that makes sense. So yeah. So for me, Garnacho, the deal looks off anyway. The deal looks absolutely dead in the pan, and I think he's going to Chelsea and it's Chelsea banned. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on Garnacho. Let's not waste any more time on him. And let's go to the man that, as I was just talking about, Jacob Ramsey. Okay, several reports coming in. So there we go. Garnacho will thrive away from United. Fair play. People thinking that. No offense, I hate Man, but other than I hate Chelsea more. They're blatantly taking the piss. Chelsea just, yeah, if I speak, we're in big trouble when it comes to them. But let's go to Tom Colomos's tweet here. What do we think of this? West Ham trying for Jacob Ramsey. Villa have wanted 30 to 40 million this summer for their homegrown midfielder, who is highly regarded by Emery. This is all one big pickle when you read it like that as well. When I read that tweet, actually, the more I read that, the more I think, what an absolute mess. 30 to 40 million. So basically, no one's bidded or valued Jacob Ramsey at 30, 40 million. Everton, West Ham, and Forest have looked at Jacob Ramsey and thought, no, you're not worth that. The second thing then is if you're highly regarded by Unai Emery, you don't sell him. Make that make sense. If you're highly regarded by Unai Emery, you probably don't get sold, right? You don't get sold. And so I don't understand that. You can't in one breath say Villa want 30 to 40 million for Ramsey. Oh, by the way, asterisk, no one's bidded that for him. But he's highly regarded by Unai Emery. Okay. So what are we saying then? Because remember, Morgan Rogers is not available at any price, and it's going to have to be 150 million to start the conversation. Remember that Villa don't want to get rid of Ollie Watkins, and we made that clear. We've said that Kamara and Yuri Tillemans are these key targets. Well, when you say all that, you make it very clear to the people that we basically don't want rid of someone. But with Jacob Ramsey, it's all a bit like, oh, we do rate him, but we don't. And he's one of our own. So would be nice to keep him. But also, we really need to make some sales. So we'll sacrifice Ramsey. It's all a load of cobwobble bollocks for me. Big up to Forest fan. He says, let's have moved on from Ramsey. Yeah, you're on to Dougie Louise now, aren't you? Ramsey is vastly overrated by Villa fans. Let's be honest, agree. Ramsey isn't highly regarded by me. That's for sure. He's crap. Sorry. Exactly. Ramsey's versus brother now. Wow. Big statement. I'm sorry, but JJ might have to leave. He hasn't been good or put up good goal contributors a couple of seasons now. He's definitely got to go. He's definitely got to go. So there's one source in Tom Collimos saying that, and then of course the other source is again ex-West Ham employee has said this, and again he's usually quite accurate in sense of West Ham transfer news, also known as X, if that's what they want to call him. West Ham have made Jacob Ramsey their number one target as talks continue with Aston Villa over a deal. So we're holding on to the fact that basically a Premier League row and West Ham signed Jacob Ramsey, and we get 30 to 40 million for him. So Jacob Ramsey, like his brother, moving clubs and staying in Claret and Blue. Remember, his brother moved to Burnley, representing the Claret and Blue. Jacob Ramsey doing the same. They obviously love the colour. But all jokes aside, Ramsey to West Ham is a very average signing for them. I don't think he would elevate West Ham. I think it's a very West Ham signing, should I say. Sign a very overhyped player. Hope they turn out well. They take a wedge. And we know that Ramsey's had his injury problems, but he's also had his goal contribution problems as well, as some of you mentioned in the chat, which is basically not delivering enough. So we have to wait and see. But I think Jacob Ramsey is going to be our first outgoing. But again, how quick will this be done? How quick will this be done? How long will we have to wait for Villa or Monchi to be able to sell a first teamer? Not one of these reserves, not one of our loanees, not terminating contracts. When's Monchi going to turn around and get us a 30, 40 million transfer for a Bailey or a Ramsey or Buendia? Yeah, maybe less on Buendia. But when's he going to sell one of those guys? The fact is, Enzo Badanchair, and he's been going viral today because he had a stormer for Benfica yesterday or today, whenever it was. We loaned him. Zlatan Djokovic, we loaned him. We kept loaning players instead of selling. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacob Ramsey ends up getting loaned to West Ham at this rate. So there you go. Ramsey's very vulnerable for sale, and I wouldn't be unhappy being ruthless. Yeah, gotta get rid of him. You shouldn't have been. You should have been on the phone to City for Grealish at the moment doing the Club World Cup. I think he does well out of Pep. Yeah, he does. He does. Grealish, weirdly, I thought he would have landed a club by now, and Grealish really, because of his lack of minutes and game time of last season, could have really done with a good pre-season. Goes back to my point about signings. You want to make your signings at the start of the window, not at the end. And as a player as well, you want to join a club at the start of a window, not at the end. And Jack Grealish has been so out of touch with football on the pitch that he needs minutes. He needs minutes. Yeah, they will do that. Oh, Grealish would cook if he came back to the Matty Cash contract. That'd be. What's new, Vince? Big up Moss. Any outside note? Just cod or bollocks transfer talk of nothing. Missing out on targets and selling or loaning players. But yeah, big up to you, Moss. The Gunners, the Glockeres coming under criticism from. Yeah, I'll have a check then, Moss. Yeah, redirectors on the settings. You got to click a button. So if you found it, you found it. But yeah, look, loads of good comments about your thoughts on Jacob Ramsey. Meeks has made one. Yes, Meeks, a legend. Loads of good comments on Jacob Ramsey. Essentially, for me, JJ is going. I did see someone, I think it was Luke, actually tweet about the fact that a Ramsey transfer doesn't necessarily help our SCR because he's only on 70k a week. And a Bailey or Buendia's on higher money would help that. I get that. But what annoys me is the idea for me is if we are going to sell Jacob Ramsey, please have a replacement lined up. Don't go fishing without a rod. Is how I feel. Or don't go fishing without your bait. Are we going to have someone to come in and be a Jacob Ramsey replacement? Or are we going to go in a world where we go, hey, don't worry, Luca Dean left back, Ian Matson left wing. We've solved the problem of the Luca and Ian situation. In fact, I could see that being a Villa thing. Will we sign a player before the 16th of August? No. No. Honestly, real talk, imagine a world where Villa, again, because of these financial restrictions, go, do you know what? We've got our left winger in Ian Matson. Oh, dear. Gary's out digging in on Bailey. Love it. We should sell Watkins and get Sesko ourselves or Openda. Thing is, Peter, I'm hearing a lot of this, and basically what we're being told is if we sell Watkins, then we can go for a Samu or a Penda, or even if we wanted a Sesko. Why not go for Isak as well? Why not we just go for Isak? But my point being is the Penda, Sesko, and Samu, all three of them lack Premier League experience in the grand total of 0 minutes. They're a risk, and they are something that, for me, is too risky on a dodgy transfer window. If we are going to have this poor transfer window, then you can't lose a big gun, and you can't lose someone who has goal contributions like Ollie Watkins does. Regardless of his missed chances, regardless of X, Y, and Z, you cannot gamble on Ollie Watkins, leave him, and replace him with someone who's not played a minute in the Premier League. For me, doesn't make sense. Especially if there's no backup number 9. Especially if there's no backup number 9. Sunderland kind of cooking egg, going to give it to those all my prize. Sunderland are going to either go boom or bust. They're either going to absolutely smash it with their new signings, or too many signings, spoil the broth, and they're going to go straight back down. Will all the signings click? That's the big question. Who cares about his wages? 70K we're playing a player who contributes nothing. Exactly, that's it, Conrad. That is it. Bailey was good when he had Diaby with him. He's crap without him. Yeah, Philogene. Unfortunately, Jaden Philogene didn't offer the competition to Leon Bailey to get him going again. Pretends to be surprised. But yeah, we've got to keep on it. The only guy I want to come and see is Cunha, and that ship is out. That ship's out very early on as well, Meek. So you must have been very disheartened because that was like done very early after the window, isn't it? And I would have loved him too. Now we put too much on Premier League experience. They're top class. All right, Peter, watch this. Victor Gyökeres will flop at Arsenal. Yeah, big statement. Big statement. Victor Gyökeres will flop at Arsenal. I'll go early on it. Did you watch him? Did you watch him for Coventry in the Championship? Different kettle. Philogene and Bailey, basically the same player and mentality there. Who have all signed to replace Cunha's 17 goals? They went for that a Colombian John in themselves. But that's why Wolves are always lingering down the bottom, isn't it? Because they don't. I genuinely think though, right? Hear me out on the Premier League proven metric. If you go in as the main number 9, now this is the difference. This is my metric on it. If you're going in as the sole number 9 of a football club and you don't have Premier League experience, it is a questionable and difficult task. If there is backup and competition and quality around you, I think you can get away with it. If someone was to come in like a Samu as the number 9 for Villa and Ollie Watkins had left, there is relentless pressure on his shoulder. Second of all, you then have to ask this question. There is a different physicality from England to Italy to Spain to France, etc. And anyone who disagrees with that, come on, let's be real here. Let's be real here. So you're talking about physicality. Putting the ball in the back of the net, doesn't matter what league you're playing, it's the same concept. But getting up to pace with the Premier League, getting up to pace with the schedule of the Premier League, getting up to pace with the fixtures of the Premier League. We don't have winter breaks. We play stupid cup qualifiers early on in the Carabao early on. I honestly believe that success for a striker who's never played in the Premier League before at a young age needs competition and understudy X, Y, and Z, if that makes sense. I'm not saying just because you're outside of the Premier League or you've never played in the Premier League, you're going to flop straight away. I think it's all about the environment. I think it's all about the environment. Let me give you a really good example. Rasmus Højlund. And Moss, I get your points, but I think you're missing my point here. Because when you say Henry, think of the players and quality that Arsenal had in and around him in those positions. Think of who Haaland had when he came into the Premier League as backup. He had Gabriel Jesus, Julian Alvarez. He had probably Sergio Aguero. Inaccuracies, but in his position, Haaland had players who, if he wasn't good, would come in. Rasmus Højlund was told, go be Man United's number 9. In fact, let's go even further with Man United. Rasmus Højlund and Joshua Zirkzee. I don't care how dusty Man United have been. Højlund and Zirkzee were asked to be number 9s for Man United. Both no Premier League experience and both have massively struggled. Because of what I'm saying, that reputable damage, that reputable pressure of being the main man. Let's go even further to Aston Villa then. Let's talk specifically Villa. Ali Samatta. We all took the piss out of Ali Samatta. Wesley. 2 players who came in to be Villa's number 9. Did they work? Did they work? Did they succeed? Did they flourish? Did Ali Samatta and Wesley come in from a foreign league as a number 9, the main number 9, and did they succeed? No. Why? Because they had bloody Keenan Davis as second striker backup pressure. So I stand by my point. Player who comes from a foreign league into the Premier League must have competition, must have backup, and must have someone who can come in and put pressure on his position. That's how I feel about that. So the interesting one with Gyökeres for me is Kai Havertz really going to put pressure on Gyökeres? Well, yeah, to be fair, because Arteta, Legoed loves him. But a different environment for me in that sense. From there, I 100% stand by that. 100% stand by it. Why did Alexander Isak come and do really well at Newcastle? Just Callum Wilson was there pushing him. And they had that rotation. So many examples I can give you. Let's go to where Chelsea struggled. Nicholas Jackson, number 9, struggled. Nicholas Jackson, number 9, struggled at Chelsea because he had no one behind him. Chelsea now have done such smart business and gone with Delap and João Pedro, 2 number 9s who will push each other or play together. So I just think that Villa right now, leaving just Ollie Watkins as the number 9 is dangerous in itself, but it's good because we know Ollie can do that role. But I'm telling you, the biggest risk from a Villa perspective right now is Ollie Watkins goes, we get a big sum of money, and then we go and put it on a Samu or an Openda, and we cry. And we realise, oh boy, that ain't good. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Ollie Watkins. I do worry about that. I really worry about how that situation can play out. Regardless of it, we'll see what happens. I just want another number 9 behind Ollie. I really do. Let me go to this Ozcan situation. Let me go to the Ozcan situation because I think this one's the most ridiculous. I think this is absolutely ridiculous. The Ozcan situation. Anderlecht are in advanced talks with Aston Villa to sign Yasin Ozcan. Oh, God, can't get my words out there. Ozcan on loan. Talks are currently underway in order to finalise an agreement on personal terms. What's going on there? What is going on there? This one doesn't make sense. So we sign a player and we're going to loan them out again straight away. In a way in which Aston Villa are continuously looking to sharpen up our defence. And clearly, if Ozcan's not ready to come into a defence where we're making no new signings, then is he ever going to be good enough for us? You've got Bogard coming in as what I see as 4th choice centre-back. You've got Ozcan basically isn't going to play left-back because you've got Maatsen and Luca Dean. And then Tyrone Mings and Pau Torres are battling out for left centre-half. But what happened to the mighty Villa back 3 that we're going to play? Wouldn't Ozcan play then? But again, it's this idea of sign a player, loan them out. So when you really deep our transfer window, because people are putting Ozcan in that, we've got Zepaquino Redmond is going to the under-21s. We got Bizot, the backup goalkeeper, and now we've got Ozcan who we're loaning out. It's crazy. And I think you're right, Conrad, is that what I'm trying to get my head around is I believe, and from what I'm reading, is that we are not going to be signing any defenders. We're not signing a right back. We don't obviously need ammunition at left back. And I think the idea is that Bogard is going to be our centre back cover. We've put all our eggs into that basket now. Yeah, Pau Torres got linked to Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. But the idea of loaning out Ozcan after just buying him or signing him and then using him in pre-season is absolutely ludicrous. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. And again, it just stinks of longer term planning and thinking, let's get him some first team experience and let's get him ready for next season. Or, let's get him ready so we can make 15 million on him. I don't know. And it comes back to my point about Monchi and Unai. You may not be here forever. You may not be at Aston Villa forever. And if you keep trying to think of the long-term project and making money, then what are you doing? If this isn't from the directive above, then you've got to ask yourselves, Unai, Monchi, it's your job. It's your career. It's your legacy. Stop thinking about 2 or 3 years' time. Stop thinking about next season. Do what's good for you now. And this idea of these youngsters coming in and the loanees and I don't know. I don't know. It just seems another player, Ozcan. Will we ever see him actually properly wear the Villa shirt? Will we actually ever see him represent Aston Villa? Like Enzo Barrenechea has never. Like I doubt Illing Jr. will ever. Like Dobbin has never. All these names we keep talking about. Will Zepaquino Redmond ever play a first team appearance for Villa? Louis Barry? Never. The list is endless. Tim Rigmanam just about got in, and then we had to give him out to Everton. It's just it's longer term thinking, I get it, but it's not what we need right now. And it definitely does not help. And anyone who thinks, Unai and Monchi are here for the long run, it's not guaranteed that. It's not guaranteed that they'll be here in 3 years' time, 2 years' time, even next season. You never know. But we have to wait and see. No wonder kid breaks through into the first team anymore in football. Like, again, you get one season, maybe. Got Lewis Skelly, done it for Arsenal. O'Reilly for Manchester City. You've got, but even Kobbie Mainoo fell off for Man United. Broke in and fell off. Just trying to think of any other examples in the league. You get one player who comes in. Kevin's loving it. You get one player who maybe comes in again with Villa. Who is that player going to be? All this money, all these academies, all this young prospects. Jacob Ramsey, Jack Grealish are arguably the only two really who've come through it all. I don't see. Yeah, this Ozcan situation has really baffled me again. It's just set me back a bit, and it set me back. I'm thinking, but what are we doing here? We're loaning. In fact, we've loaned more players than we bought or sold combined this window. We've loaned Kostan Ajolkovic out. We've loaned Louis Barry. We've loaned Barrenechea, and we're about to loan Ozcan. I'm sure Louis Barry went on loan, didn't he? I'm sure Louis Barry went on loan, or have I just made that up in my head now? I'm sure we loaned Louis Barry out. But my point is that the frustration of this window is we've done more loans out than signings or outgoings combined. How's that happened? How has that happened? How have we got ourselves in this predicament in a window where we've been told that we had PSR problems, but we obviously overcame that. And then we had another window where we've overcome PSR and we thought, right, here come the signings. It just hasn't happened. And then we thought, oh, here come the outgoings. It just hasn't happened. It's been a real stalemate for me. And that's probably where my frustration is at. Nothing's happened either way. We haven't had the outgoings and we haven't had the incomings. So it's been absolutely stale. Absolutely stale. Yeah, the next one up for Arsenal is Max Dowman, isn't it? Um, I wonder if he will play any Premier League football for Arsenal this season. But yeah, Pete is right. And then why loans out but not in? Exactly, loan FC, but Monch is cooking something. Kevin, even I can see in your message that you're not quite feeling it. You're trying to stay positive like you always do, but you know deep down that Monchi ain't cooking right now. Monchi's frying himself, big style. I've just thought about the left winger thing. What if Illing Jr. actually becomes our left? Like, what if there's a world where we start using Illing Jr. in the Premier League? That'd be scary. That'd be scary. Josh, you have to remember Newcastle didn't buy a first-team player for free transfer windows due to PSR, bought in by the cartels, parent clubs. To be fair, how Newcastle fans got through that and how Newcastle fans survived that, I'll never know. I will absolutely never know. I'm struggling with one transfer window, and that's not being ungrateful, but our last summer one was pretty crap as well. Apart from Onana and Ross Barkley, it struggled. January saved us, but yeah, to be a Newcastle fan and go through that, not ideal. Not ideal at all. Anthony is playing in La Liga, a less physical league. He wasn't Premier level, and Ten Hag himself said he didn't want him, but he's forced to buy him. But Tomlinson said anyone can do well there. We'll see what happens. Basically, Manchester United have got dusty players and they can't get rid of them. Villa are in a similar position, apart from we rate our players and we put a higher price tag and we can't seem to get rid of them. So we're in absolute stalemate right now. And I'll tell you now, as a content creator, it's been really difficult to come on here and talk because I think Villa fans, I think Villa fans are absolutely tired of crap transfer rumours. Even myself, I'm like, right, I've got to do a show tonight. And it's got to the point, if you look at my last week, I don't even really talk about the transfer rumours anymore because I've looked at them and gone, there's no point talking about this. It's not happening anymore. So I'd rather just come on here and talk about the same stuff that we do, but in a little different way. And my rants increase. But I thought this was going to be a window where we boomed it. I thought this was going to be a window where I was going to be non-stop busy. I thought this was going to be a transfer window where I was like, wow, signing after signing after signing after signing after signing after signing, or outgoings after outgoings after outgoings. That's the thing. I haven't even been able to sit here and tell you about outgoings and what this would mean for us. So I don't know. It's been one really stale, boring, crazy, frustrating window. It's the 1st of August. 1st of September's a month away. Cartel 6 are having the time of their life. The Cartel 6 are doing what they want, and everyone else is scratching their heads, scratching their asses, and going, what's the point? Why don't we just make our own league? Why don't we just make our own league? Let the Super League happen, and let's create a new league where there's a bit more. But my thought would be, if there was to be a said Super League, you know what's going to happen? The likes of us, Newcastle and Forest, would become the new Cartel 6, essentially. And then we'd be everything that we hate Chelsea and City and Liverpool for. So, catch 22. We don't want to become that greedy club. So, let's see what happens. Going to wrap up in a second. So, if anyone's got any more thoughts and feelings, then do let me know. It's called a transfer window once you're not bloody go on a jolly up to Spain and do nothing window. I feel like that. I want every club to challenge the cartel clubs. I don't care which club it is. We have to try and break the cartel somehow. They're protected. They are protected by the powers above. I'm convinced Villa will reap the rewards for stability. But yeah, I convinced that I really was just there. I know it's boring. You just said it's crap content. That's the problem. Relax, keep the faith. Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. Um, so let's see what happens. But big up to each and every single one of you. Thanks for tuning in. We're gonna bow out of here, and yeah, chill out for a bit. Villa play tomorrow, Nashville, last US preseason game. So hopefully we'll have a smile on our face for that one. But yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you everyone who's commented. Thank you to everyone who's liked. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. Big up to you guys, and I'll see you all very soon. Take care. On to the next one. I'm out of here. Ta-da.